Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I want to pass on my top 5 tips for using ATGMs effectively in Cold War. Before we get into these tips though, if you want to know more about how to play ATGMs, check out the 2 video links in the description. Alright, let's jump into my top 5 tips for ATGMs. Once you've fired your ATGM, aim with the red laser pointer, not the white aim reticle. When I first started using ATGMs, I assumed that the red laser pointer was tied to the white aim reticle, and it took me a while to work out that the two are actually separate. As you can see in this freeze frame here, if I were to aim center mass with the white reticle, my ATGM would end up impacting where the target used to be, which is of course not really what you want. You want to hit the target. So remember, once you've fired, disregard the white aim reticle and only use the red laser pointer to guide the missile to the target. Lead your target when firing at close range. You'll have likely heard about shotgunning with ATGMs. It can be done, but it does require you to lead your target, and when I say lead your target, you'll be surprised at just how far you have to lead the target with some ATGMs. You'll find that if you don't lead the target, you'll miss, which can be very frustrating because ATGMs don't reload very quickly, and if you don't lead the target, what ends up happening is the ATGM will impact the ground where the target used to be. So keep in mind, if you want to pull off a shotgun and they're with an ATGM and the enemy target is close, remember to lead the target. Use the right zoom level when aiming and firing. Each tank by default comes with 2 aim levels. You've got a 2x zoom and a 4x zoom. If you're making a shot at range, you'll want to use the 4x zoom. If the target is closer to you, you'll likely want to use the 2x zoom, but this can vary. If the target you're shooting at has very specific weak points, then you can use the 4x zoom to make sure that you do hit that very specific weak point. If the target you're shooting at is a light tank and all you need to do is just hit them to do damage with an ATGM, then use the 2x zoom. The major benefit of the 2x zoom at close range is you can make big adjustments to the missile tracking very easily. If you want to hit a twitchy light tank, you'll have a far better chance of hitting them if you use the 2x zoom when they are close to you. That's not to say that using one zoom level is better than the other. This one though really does come down to what works best for you. If you think you'll be spotted when you fire, pull back into cover, aim in a different direction and fire the missile just to get it in the air. Once the ATGM is in the air, pull back out from cover, aim at the target and put the laser pointer onto the target you want to hit. This technique is very useful, especially when it's imperative that you remain undetected when firing. You can use this technique to remain undetected and still hit ATGM shots when you are well within the detection range of the target that you're shooting at. Understand the characteristics of your vehicle's ATGMs and don't get distracted by them. The fastest ATGM in the game belongs to the BMP-3, coming in at 370 meters per second. The slowest ATGM in the game belongs to the BMP-1, coming in at 115 meters per second. This is the information that Wargaming gives us, but I have been playing ATGM tanks enough to know that there are some stats that Wargaming don't tell us about ATGMs. The top speed of the ATGM is only one side of this coin. If you were to flip that coin over, you'll find that there is a hidden stat, which is ATGM acceleration rate. The top speed of an ATGM might be 370 meters per second, but how long does it take to reach that top speed? Now you might be wondering, Ricky, how do you know there's a hidden stat? Well, it is evident in game, and I'll give you an example. The Sheridan's ATGMs have a very short flight time compared to the Bradley. The Sheridan's ATGMs have a max speed of 320 meters per second. The Bradley's ATGMs have a max speed of 329 meters per second. As a player, I know my time to target with a Sheridan is very short, whereas the Bradley is noticeably longer. This knowledge means that each can play slightly differently. I need less lead distance if I want to shotgun with a Sheridan, but conversely, I can pull off shots from cover with the Bradley that I know I couldn't do with the Sheridan. These are the characteristics of each vehicle that must be understood. Finally, to finish off this last tip, the distraction that ATGMs can bring. Just because you have access to an ATGM doesn't mean you should load one. I have had countless experiences in game where I've had an ATGM loaded, I have a target, but I don't pull the trigger. Why? Because I know that by the time the ATGM reaches the target or the target location, they will have moved or pulled into cover. Sometimes it's better to just load armor piercing because doing 550 damage is better than doing 0. Okay folks, that is about all I have for this one. If you want to know more about how to play ATGMs, check out the links in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I hope you're all keeping well, and I will see you out there.